Time travel is not about moving through time, it's about understanding time. Reflections of Mosy Kan. Let me ask you something simple. What time is it right now? You probably know the answer. You glanced at your phone, or your watch, or the clock on the wall. You have a number. Maybe it's morning, maybe it's late at night. You know exactly what time it is. But here's the question. I actually want to ask, what is time? Not what the clock says, not the hour or the minute, but time itself. What is it? Take a moment with that, because most people, when they hear that question, feel something strange happen. The certainty disappears. The confidence they had a second ago, when the answer was just a number, quietly leaves the room. And what remains is something much more interesting than what any clock could ever show. We all live inside time. We are born into it. We move through our daily, shaped entirely by it. We move through our days, shaped entirely by it. We plan, we remember, we hope, we regret. All of it organized around this invisible thing we call time. And yet, if you sit with the question long enough, you begin to realize we do not actually understand it. The assumption we never question. When most people think about time travel, they imagine a machine, a device, a chair, a capsule, something you step into and then step out of somewhere else, somewhere earlier or somewhere later. A technology that moves you across time, the way a train moves you across distance. That image is so familiar, so deeply embedded in our imagination, that you almost never stop to question the assumption hiding inside it. The assumption is this: that time is a place, a location, a coordinate, something that exists out there, stretched across the universe like a road, with the past behind you and the future ahead. And that all you need to travel is, and that all you need to travel it is the right kind of vehicle. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if time is not a road at all? What if the very idea that time is something you move through, like water, like space, like a corridor, is the misunderstanding we have been living inside for our entire lives? Because here's what is strange about the time. When you look at it carefully, you cannot see it. You cannot touch it. You cannot hold it in your hands or store it in a jar. You can only experience it. And experience is not the same as measurement. Experience is not the same as a clock. The past that will not leave. Consider for a moment, right now, somewhere in your mind, there are moments from 10 years ago that feel more real than what you had for breakfast this morning. A conversation you wish had gone differently. A place you visited once and never returned to. A person whose voice you can still hear, though they may be gone. Where are those moments? The conventional answer is in the past, gone, finished, no longer existing except as traces in your brain, electrical patterns, fading photographs, stories you tell yourself. But notice what actually happens when you remember. The emotion returns, not the description of an emotion, the emotion itself, the warmth, the regret, the longing. Something that was supposed to be over is clearly still operating, still present, still shaping how you see the world right now. So is the past really gone? Or is it more accurate to say it's the past that is present, just invisible? The philosopher Henry Bergson spent much of his life arguing that the past is not stored in us the way files are stored in a drawer. He believed the past continues to exist, not as memory, but as duration, as something alive, as something that has not finished happening. That's a strange thought, and it is worth sitting with. Because if the past is not truly over, if it is still somehow here, still pressing forward into the present, then the arrow of time is not as clean as we thought. And if the arrow of time is not clean, then the idea of traveling backwards through it becomes something much more interesting than a science fiction plot. Memory may be the original time machine, the future that already exists. Now let's go into the other direction. What about tomorrow? Tomorrow has not happened yet. That seems obvious, but physicists, particularly those working within the framework of special relativity, have a different perspective. In the mathematics of space-time, the future is not simply waiting to happen. It already exists as a dimension. This is the block universe theory. The idea that past, present, and future all exist simultaneously. That time is not a river flowing forward, but the landscape that simply is. And that our experience of moving through it is a kind of illusion created by consciousness. If that is true, or even if it is only partially true, then the future does not need to be created. It needs to be understood. And this is where philosophy begins to feel more urgent than physics. Because if the future already exists in some form, not as fate, but as a structure, then our imagination is not invention. It is perception. When you picture a version of tomorrow that has not yet arrived, you are not making something up. You are reaching towards something real. Does that change how you think about imagination? Does that change how you think about about planning? About vision? About the decision you make today? What if imagining the future is not escapism, but a form of travel? The paradox in the middle. Here's where things become strange. There's a paradox at the center of our experience of time. We all know it, though we rarely name it clearly. You exist in the present, only the present. There is no moment in which you are not now. This second, as you are watching, as you are thinking, this is the only moment that actually exists for you. And yet your mind is almost never here. Right now, while you are listening to these words, part of your mind is somewhere else. It is running through a conversation from last week. It is projecting towards a problem you need to solve tomorrow. It is rehearsing something you want to say. It is replaying something you wish you had not said. Your body is here. Your consciousness is scattered across time. This is not a failure. It may be the very nature of consciousness itself. The philosopher William James calls our experience of time as precious, present. The idea that what we call now is not actually a single point in time, but a small window, a brief span, a few seconds wide. We experience time not as a series of isolated instants, but as a flow, where the very recent past and the very near future are both held inside the present moment, which means the present is never just the present, it is always already time travel. You are never only there. Next, we start part 5, decisions as doorways.